27, 10, and 10, 8 turnovers and a 7-point loss. Cade Cunningham's first triple-double of the 2026 playoffs, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 8 live ball turnovers against Cleveland in Game 3. Nearly as many turnovers in one game as he had across Games 1 and 2 combined. Detroit erased a 17-point Cavalier lead, then handed it back in 3 consecutive possessions inside roughly 40 seconds of fourth-quarter clock. The headline says triple-double in a road loss. The chalkboard says Cleveland did not really win this game. Cade Cunningham gave it to them 3 times in 40 seconds. We are going to walk through how. Game 3, May 9th, Cleveland. The Cavaliers led by 17 in the first half. Cade Cunningham finished with 27 points on 10 of 27 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, 5 of 6 from the line, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 8 turnovers. 17 of his 27 points came in the second half. The bulk of his 8 turnovers came in the second half too. That is the asymmetry. Cleveland's regular drop coverage from Games 1 and 2 was gone. In its place was a swap and trap. Here is the rotation. The on-ball defender chased Cade's strong side. The screener's defender swapped onto him to set the hard trap. The weak side big pre-rotated to the corner before the pass left Cade's hands. That last detail is the lever. Cade Cunningham is one of the league's best reactive passers off the pick and roll. His read is to find the help defender, then skip the ball to the weak side shooter. Game 1, Game 2, that pass kept finding the corner. In Game 3, the corner was already covered. Mobley moved as the screen was being set, not after the catch. Allen swapped into the trap a half beat before contact. By the time Cade's eyes reached the open shooter was already shaded. His read window collapsed from a full second to half a second. Cunningham averaged in the low 3s for turnovers per game across the regular season. Across Games 1 and 2 of this Cleveland series, his combined turnovers totaled close to 9. 8 in Game 3 alone. One game produced almost the same turnover damage as the entire first 2 games of this series before it. 27, 10, and 10, 8 turnovers and a 7-point loss. That's not Cade Cunningham missing reads at random. The swap and trap broke his read 3 times in a row. Watch the geometry. Fourth quarter, Game 3, Detroit has just erased Cleveland's 17-point first-half lead. Detroit leads by 3. 3 consecutive Detroit possessions, all Cade, all live ball turnovers, all inside roughly 40 seconds of game clock. Possession A, Cade brings the ball over half court and rejects the screen. Mobley and Allen trap him at the elbow before he reaches the paint. He sees the corner shooter and throws the skip pass. Allen reaches out of the trap and deflects the ball. Possession B, Cade comes off a high screen on the next trip. He turns the corner. Allen swaps onto him before he can finish the move. The ball is stripped clean. Possession C, Cade attacks a closeout. He sees the corner shooter open again. He releases the pass. Mobley has already rotated from the weak side corner to the strong side corner before the ball leaves Cade's hand. The pass is intercepted in mid-flight. Cleveland turns all 3 into transition. Detroit's 3-point lead becomes Cleveland's 7-point lead. 3 consecutive live ball turnovers. Same scheme on all 3. The trap arrived early on the first one. Cade adjusted to the trap on the second one. Cleveland swapped the trap defender. Cade adjusted to the swap on the third one. Mobley rotated to the corner shooter before the pass left his hands. The chalkboard kept moving. The triple-double kept ticking. The Pistons lost the game in those 40 seconds. 40 seconds, the length of a single full timeout. That is how long it took for Cleveland to flip a home loss into a Game 3 win and pull the series back to 2-1. The triple-double counts. The triple-double is real. The triple-double is also what camouflages everything else that happened on the same possessions. Compare the same player across the same series. Games 1 and 2, Cunningham combined roughly 9 turnovers across 2 games. Detroit won both. The series sat at 2-0. Game 3, Cunningham alone, 8 turnovers in 1 game. Detroit lost by 7. The series is now 2-1. The turnover number is barely different across 2 columns. The damage it produced is not. Why? Distribution. Games 1 and 2, the turnovers spread across 48 minutes per game. They never clustered, they never piled up inside a single rotation pattern. Cleveland in those games was running standard pick-and-roll drop coverage. Cunningham's read window stayed open. The mistakes were ordinary. Game 3, the turnovers concentrated. The majority arrived in the second half. 3 of them landed in roughly 40 seconds of fourth quarter clock. All 3 came off the same swap and trap scheme. All 3 came on consecutive Detroit possessions. Sloppy turnovers cluster randomly across 40 minutes of basketball. Scheme-induced turnovers cluster on the exact possessions a defense is engineering them. The film says cluster. The film says scheme. The film says Cleveland did this to Cade Cunningham, not the other way around. Same player, same series, new scheme, 1 game of damage that closed the gap on the road team. Cleveland produced transition opportunities off live ball Cunningham turnovers across the fourth quarter that did not exist in games 1 and 2. The Cavaliers turned those opportunities into the points that flipped the 7-point margin. 1 scheme, 1 half of basketball, 3 pre-rotated traps in 40 seconds. That is the entire mechanism. Cleveland did not need a star adjustment to win Game 3. Cleveland needed Cade's read window to shrink. The swap and trap shrunk it. The scoreboard followed. The hypothesis: a triple-double in a loss is camouflage when the player turns the ball over 8 times against a scheme built to force exactly that. Cleveland's swap and trap rotated to the help spot a half beat before the pass left Cade's hands. The turnover number, not the triple-double, decided the game. The Steelman runs like this. Cade was a little sloppy on the road. The triple-double still says he played a star game. Mitchell and Harden are veteran closers who outscored Detroit at the end. Detroit still leads 2-1. The 8 turnovers are a cleanup problem, not a structural one. The Steelman fails on distribution. 8 turnovers from a player averaging in the low 3s is more than double his baseline. Not a sloppy night. The shape of the 8 kills the sloppy framing. The bulk came in the second half. 3 came in roughly 40 seconds of fourth quarter possession. All 3 came under direct trap pressure. All 3 came against the same scheme with the same half-beat early timing. Sloppy turnovers cluster randomly across 40 minutes. Scheme-induced turnovers cluster on the exact possessions a defense is engineering them. The film says the second pattern. Cleveland did this to Cade. The fix is not clean up the passes. The fix is build a counter to the swap and trap or get someone else to bring the ball up when the pre-rotation arrives. Cleveland had 2 ways to win Game 3, outscore Detroit through Mitchell and Harden, or break Cade's reads through scheme. They did the first on the box score, they did the second on the chalkboard. The second is what won the game. Mitchell's 35 points came inside a half-court offense that only got going because the swap and trap produced live ball turnovers and runouts. Strip the 8 turnovers and Mitchell is dropping 35 in a game Cleveland loses. The triple-double is real. The triple-double is also the most expensive triple-double of Cade Cunningham's playoff career. 3 rotations decided this game. The first is swap timing. The trap defender moves as the screen is set, not after. The read window halves. The second is pre-rotation help. Mobley arrives at the corner before the skip pass leaves Cade's hand. The kickout option dies. The third is trap to transition. The live ball turnover becomes a runout. The defense scores points the offense never attempted. 3 rotations, 1 half of basketball, 8 turnovers, 3 of them in 40 seconds. Cleveland won the chalkboard before they won the scoreline. Game 4 is in Cleveland, same building, same swap and trap waiting on the same chalkboard. Detroit has 72 hours to find a counter to the pre-rotated help. Cade gets 1 shot to bring the ball up against a trap that arrives a half beat early. We will see whose pencil moves first. Next episode of Chalk Tactics, we break down a finals contender's switch defense that has produced the league's most uncopyable rotation pattern across 3 straight playoff runs. The math says it should not work, the film says it does.